Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday was started by Lainey of Ginger Reads Lainey. I will link her channel as well as the Goodreads group down below so you can go check it out for topics and such. This week's topic is books you read in one sitting, and I have to preface this with saying that sometimes I'll read a book very quickly, but it won't necessarily mean that I'm in love with it. So these aren't like my favorite books of all time or anything, these are just books that I read really quickly. So all these books are books that I just had a fun time while reading. There are some favorites on here and I'll point those out obviously, but reading a book fast for me doesn't necessarily mean that it's like my favorite book of all time or anything, just to preface that. So number 5 is a very recent read for me, and that is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. This one is not released yet, I got an arc of it at BEA, but it comes out in September of this year. This is about a girl who is allergic to literally everything, so she has been contained to her home for basically her entire life, and then one day a family moves next door that has 2 teenagers in it, and her life kind of takes off from there. But this is a very quick read, and it's because of the way that it's written. One, it's very short, but also the chapters aren't necessarily complete, and there's a lot of drawings, there's like email correspondence, there's text messages. The chapters are fairly short, and you can definitely read this one in one sitting. I would have, but I was reading it at BEA, so I didn't have a ton of time, so I read it in I think 2 days, but this is definitely a one sitting read for sure. If you have the time to sit down and read a whole book, you can definitely get through this one. And this is one that I actually really ended up enjoying, and there will be a review on my channel closer to when this book is being released. Number 4 is The Goddess Test by Amy Carter. I've actually done a full review on this whole series, which I will link down below. I didn't end up enjoying the majority of the series. I ended up actually really disliking it, and it went really downhill, but I ended up loving this first book. I gave it 4 stars, I think. It's not perfect, but it was so addictive to me. It is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I love me some Hades and Persephone, so I just really enjoyed this. I flew through it. It's written very fast-paced, a lot of things are happening. It's about a girl who has to take a test to become the goddess of the underworld, the new Persephone basically, so there's a lot of different like challenges and things she's going through, there's a lot of characters being introduced. It was just a really fun, fast-paced read, and I wish that it was a standalone. Sadly, it's not. Number 3 is a book that I have really never mentioned on my channel. I don't think I read it when I first started my channel and really haven't talked about it since, but that is The Forsaken by Lisa M. Stase. I read this book, and I don't even know why. It was so addictive to me, though. This is a dystopian book. It's about a girl who has to take a test when she turns like 16 or 18 or something, the typical dystopian thing, and basically if you get deemed a criminal mind, you get sent to this island, and she doesn't want to get sent to this island, she does, obviously, and on this island there's a bunch of like tribes of teenagers. The life expectancy is like 18 years old or 19 or something, like you don't expect to live very long. They don't really provide for you in any way. It's kind of crazy. It's almost like a weird Maze Runner-y type thing. I haven't read the whole Maze Runner or anything, but it feels kind of like that. I think fans of Maze Runner would like this, but it's very much like a typical dystopian kids taking a test and then being thrown out to like fend for themselves, Lord of the Flies type thing. But it was so freaking addictive, but there was insta-love, which I hated, and there was no like character depth or anything, but I could not stop reading this. I could not put it down. I wanted to put it down. It wasn't even that well done, but I couldn't put it down, and the things that happened like didn't make sense. But I just kept reading it. I did not continue on with the series. This is a trilogy, and I did not continue, but I still liked it, I guess. I don't know. It's like a 2-star book, honestly, but I was so addicted to it, and it's not like short or anything. I don't know. But this is definitely a book I read in one sitting. There's a moth that got trapped in a spiderweb out there, and I'm watching the spider wrap it, and it's disgustingly mesmerizing. I actually like saw it out of the corner of my eye, that's how big the moth is, and now I can't stop watching. Ugh. Disgusting. Nature is gross. Number 2 is For Darkness Shows the Stars by Diana Peterfront. This is a Persuasion by Jane Austen retelling, and it's kind of like a futuristic science fiction dystopian-y Persuasion retelling. The elements that are like science fiction dystopian I didn't really think were particularly strong, but the angsty romance was done so well because it's a pre-page 1 romance. If you know the story of Persuasion, then you kind of know it, but it was just so well done and so angsty, and I just really loved the 2 main characters and hearing about their relationship both in the past and how they're dealing with it now. Basically, it's about these 2 characters who kind of grew up together, and the male love interest leaves and then comes back at a later point, and that's kind of when the story starts, and this girl has to deal with like what's she gonna do, and she's kind of been in love with him this whole time since he's been gone, and it's just really angsty and wonderful, and I really loved the way that this was done. I plan on doing a review on this book, but it's part of a companion series. It takes place in the same world, kind of, sort of, and I've been trying to read the companion book, but I cannot get through the companion book. I read this one, like I said, in one sitting, in one day, in a reading slump. Loved it. But I just can't get through the other one. So hopefully in the future I'll be able to get through the companion novel and then you'll see a review on this. But I really enjoyed this one and definitely gave like 4 stars. And number 1 should come as no surprise, but that is a two-way tie between Unravel Me and Ignite Me by Tara Mafi. I inhale read this entire series basically. Shatter Me took a little bit longer because I personally don't like Shatter Me a ton. But Unravel Me, I was up until 5 in the morning one day reading it, and then the next day I was up until 5 in the morning reading Ignite Me. Like, I could not put these books down if I wanted to. It was amazing, a great experience, and I really love them so much. If you guys like romance in your books, then I really recommend reading these. This is a like dystopian, but it's really about the romance and the characters, so if you like that kind of thing, then I think you should really pick these up. If you don't like that kind of thing, then don't pick these up. If you want more of like an action-driven story, don't pick these up. But if you love relationships and friendships and characters and character development, yes, then pick these up. But yeah, I inhale read both of these and I have no regrets. Alright guys, that is it for Top 5 Wednesday. Comment down below, let me know some of the books that you read in one sitting. I would love to know. I very rarely read books in one sitting. And when I do, they're kind of like, it's a mixed bag between books that are like my favorites and books that are like not. It's really weird when it happens. It's a variety of different books it happens with and I don't really understand the common denominator here. But whatever. So thank you all for watching and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!